The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
From Grand Bahama, where 2025 marks a turning point for this island's economy, a turning point in that straw vendors, taxi drivers, restaurant owners, jewelry store owners, so many business owners on this island are crying for an intervention, an injection, a meaningful one in this island's economy. Now, let me explain that, because you would say, well, Celebration Key only opened a short while ago and people are raving about that, and that's true. Celebration Key is having an impact, but Celebration Key and its impact is not at all sufficient to touch the various parts of this island and its economy. For example, I am near the Port Lucaya Marketplace. I'll explain that to you and how that looks in just a little bit. But let's just talk about what's happening here in Grand Bahama. It's an economy that's been stagnant for decades. It's been reported recently that there are more than $3 billion worth of investments on tap for this island in the pipeline. Well, those business owners that I mentioned a short while ago are saying, take those projects, investments, ideas, that $3+ billion out of the proverbial pipeline and get it moving in this economy. This evening, we're going to speak with a number of people who are going to give a vivid description of exactly what is happening here in Grand Bahama. We're also going to talk about Tieno Beach and the bridge there that's been sort of another stagnant point for residents here on this island who have, in the last 2 years, have caused business to come to a virtual standstill on the other side of Tieno Beach from where I stand, or where I sit rather, this evening. And so we have a lot to get to this evening. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you here, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. The applause you heard are several business owners, labor leaders, a number of individuals who are here this evening here at the, remind me, gentlemen, this hotel again. Pelican Bay Hotel, and we are grateful for them, really, for such excellent accommodations. Grand Bahama has a lot to offer. It is stunningly beautiful. It's rich and it's natural. It has such great appeal. And Grand Bahamians say they want to have that appeal on Front Street again. They want to be able to partake in this economy and help move it forward. We're going to get started this evening with two vendors, straw vendors from the Port Lucaya Marketplace. I'm joined this evening by Tanya Higgins and Lorenzo McKinsey. Good evening to both of you. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines from Grand Bahama.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Tanya, it is your birthday, but you said, Shanique, I listen to me. I have no interest in going nowhere, doing nothing, cooking me a special dinner, because this is more important. Let's begin with you, Tanya. What has been happening at Port Lucaya Marketplace in terms of the straw vendors who today, who I walk through, and you'll see some B-roll in a moment, and I'll tell you this, you could play softball with unhindered, whatever you want to do, golf, whatever it is. That's because there's nothing happening on the aisles and the lanes of the Port Lucaya Marketplace. Let the people know what's happening.
Good night. My name is Tanya Higgins, and I've been a vendor for 33 plus years. My concern is that we don't have the business we used to have anymore. Ever since Celebration Key opened, over 2 months ago, business came at a standstill for us. Gone are the days when the ship used to come in, we used to make money, everybody happy, go lucky, you could pay your bills with a smile. Now, everything has changed.
So let's explain that for people who don't quite understand the makeup of Grand Bahama. When you say the ship, gone are the days when the ship used to come in and you all made some sort of money. Because I understand business been trickling for many years now at Port Lucaya. So let's just talk about the ship and where it came in and what you're talking about.
Okay, what I'm speaking about tonight, when the ship used to come, Carnival, Norwegian Cruise Line, Royal Caribbean, when they came in at the harbor, we used to get a lot of the visitors that came through, whether they came by taxi or by tour buses. We had it trickled down, it came through. You could see, touch, and feel when the tourists walked through. But those days are no longer there anymore since Celebration Key opened.
Those days, how much would you say you made in a day or a week?
Well, on an average week, probably about, I could take home like about close to $1,000.
Now, what do you make a week?
What I make a week is about $400.
You were quite despondent today. In fact, I had to come back to see you because you hailed me down and say, Shanique, I must speak with you. Talk about this almost desperation that is happening now among the vendors who are just sitting there looking at each other and trying to keep cool.
Well, a lot of people, a lot of the straw vendors don't really want to speak out, but I tell them, this is our livelihood, this is all we have. I know of nothing else. This is what I did when I came from high school, straight into being a straw vendor. And I don't know, we don't have anything to lose. We have our family to take our bills and stuff to pay, and if we're not seeing the tourists, we need help and hope, and we need it right away, not today, yesterday, we need it now.
Lorenzo, you too are a vendor in the Port Lucaya marketplace. I'll tell you that my team and I, who are here with me, we walked through that marketplace this morning and this afternoon, and it is such a lovely place. Truly it is. Is it in need of refurbishments and upgrade? Yes. But it's naturally beautiful, yet there is nobody walking about to see it. Give us your story and your experience.
My name is Lorenzo McKenzie, and I've been a straw vendor for 54 years, and I love what I do. The Port Lucaya right now, as a marketplace...
Hold that, Lorenzo. You hold that as well.
Port Lucaya right now is a marketplace. We come to work 6 o'clock in the morning. Miss Marilyn, she comes, she opens up. Sometimes she meet me there, sometimes I meet her there, because her sister works with her. We sit down, and we stay there until 4 or 5 o'clock. Some stay until 8 o'clock. But literally, we sit down with no income. Port Lucaya is fighting for 2 to 3 persons, maybe coming on the bus. Mm-hmm. And they say, we rent a bus out there. The bus come, the bus got maybe 2 people. So we stay there, there's no money. You cannot pay your bills on time. We cannot pay rent on time. You cannot pay mortgage on time. You cannot pay light on time. You can't even give your kids lunch money on time. That's how bad it is, because Celebration Key came up there, and to me, it's sucked the life out of the industry.
Okay, you all seem to be demonizing Celebration Key. Let's just talk about Celebration Key and how it's impacted, you feel, this area or this part of Grand Bahama.
See, the whole concept of Celebration Key was for our thought is going to spill over to us. Mm-hmm. That the market, the straw market, the garden of the groves, and all the adjacent areas will be benefiting because of the spillover. Well, no one's coming out.
No one?
No one is coming out.
What do you take home on an average week right now?
Sometimes $70.
An average week, Lorenzo, not day.
No. $70.
$70. Tanya,
maybe $100. Maybe.
Tanya, is he speaking the truth? And in terms of not him personally, but the fact of what you hear from other vendors as well. Grab the mic real quick.
Okay, well, a lot of times we go to work. Some days you don't make $1. Sometimes you be sitting up there from morning until time to leave. And you will see 1 or 2 tourists, but they're just walking through, just looking. You can't force the tourists to buy anything. You only can call them over and ask them if you can be of some service to them. And what he's saying is the truth, but with me, I'm not gonna sit down, everything passing, I'm gonna try to, even down to the Bahamians. When they're walking through, we be calling them, and they say, oh, we just looking, we're Bahamians, so sometimes I'll say to them, Bahamian shops too. And that's what we down to now, because we don't have the tourists, the traffic in Port Lucaya anymore. And what he's saying is the truth on his behalf, okay? Some days we go home without $1, and it's very hard.
And either of you can speak to this. Many of the businesses that I walk through at Port Lucaya Marketplace, and the doors are closed. The doors are closed. I was following, even in recent weeks, perhaps just over a month, to see that many of the wonderful, quaint delis have shut their doors after just recently opening.
Yes, Lux Deli shut down, only a month open. The stores are closed because the vendors are discouraged. Very discouraged. Thank God for Margaritaville. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, that's when it was coming here on
The cruise ship.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that was coming like 3 days a week, and they took that away from us.
What do you mean they took it away? Who took it away?
It's coming here, I don't know if it's coming here, but we only have it 1 day a week, and that's like tomorrow, Margaritaville will be in. But when Margaritaville used to say they came here 3 days a week, which was Sunday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays.
Now, is it vexing? You all heard me at the top of tonight's show, and I said, listen, it's just recently, there is more than $3 billion worth of investment in the pipeline for here. This economy is set to do amazing things. That is why you have heard it said on this show by Grand Bahamians, including the chamber president, that listen, the economy, it's going to be a slow turn, but it's happening. Celebration Key is a part of it. But does it vex you all to hear me say there is, according to the Port Authority and all its subsidiaries, in excess of $3 billion on top of investments and projects and wonderful ideas and developments in the pipeline, and it seemed to be just stuck in that pipeline, like you must need to go and declutter that pipeline somehow. Is that vexing to hear that and still experience what you all experiencing?
Very, very vexing. And one of the things is, you still have to pay your bills today.
Let's talk about those bills. Are you the sole breadwinner of your home, of your
Yes.
household? How are you managing?
Boy, on the grace of God, like everybody else. Because the thing about it, you got to pay the power bill. You got to pay the water bill. You got to put groceries in the house. You got to help your grandkids them. You got to buy gas. You can't even eat good to Port Lucaya for lunch.
What
How you all had breakfast this morning?
Would you touch me for?
I almost begged you for breakfast. I don't think I joking. One of my colleagues said, "Red, you will get no breakfast." I said, "No, I asked." But next time I'll get breakfast.
Well, then, man, if you were hungry, we could have assisted you.
Yes, that's how serious it is.
Yes, yeah.
We sit down there, we don't make no money, period. Now, we thank God that Carnival Cruise is here. They have all of the Bahamians employed. They brought back everybody back home. That's beautiful. But boy, if you really love Grand Bahama, you're going to make sure not just Celebration Key eat. Everybody must eat.
So
David Wallace must eat.
Who is responsible for everybody eating? Because again, Celebration Key is its own entity. It has hired hundreds of Grand Bahamians. There are many people, and this has been said on my show by Grand Bahamians, not me, that people have now returned home. The abandoned houses are now occupied again, and things are happening. So then who is responsible for the rest of Grand Bahama? Who is the hold up? Who is clogging the system?
It's being clogged, obviously, because everyone here, the tour operators, the Pirates Cove, Garden of the Groves, everybody is talking the same language. It's bad. There's no business. There's 9 people. There's people. So we now trying to figure out what create this problem, because the spillover is supposed to come to us. And so right now, we're talking about it among ourselves. We're trying to figure out where to solve the how to solve the problem, where the problem started, and so we can solve the problem, because it has to be solved. We can't make it like this. The bazaar closed down. The vendors and family members will say, "Boy, Rance, we don't want the Port Lucaya to shut down like the bazaar."
However, and Tanya, jump in. When the hotel starts, but you all have gotten any clear dates on that? Because when the work starts, the Lucaya Marketplace will close down to have the work done. I understand there have been talks, or perhaps it's been announced officially, that vendors will be paid even if they find something to do in the meantime. But does that make it easier for what you're experiencing right now?
Well, that's new news to us.
Oh, y'all weren't told that?
No. We've been begging for money a long time.
No, it said the payment will start when the work start here.
Right? No. Yeah. See, if you could do something for us, you should tell us first.
Yeah, come to the people.
There's no communication.
None. I'm the president.
No.
None. That's new news to us. Trust me, every vendor in Port Lucaya who watching this, they mouth open. With money. With compensation.
What needs to happen, you all? Because Grand Bahama, this is not where you are now in terms of your position. Even at the Port Lucaya marketplace is nothing new. Lorenzo, we've spoken since last year, and before that, things have been stagnant. Not just at the marketplace at Port Lucaya, but the entire Grand Bahama economy. There's been some ripples going on because of Celebration Key, but it's absolutely not sufficient. It cannot lift the entire island. I know that there's something to do with the harbor and MSC, and that's now at a standstill. So much promise and hope that's going on, yet everything just is at a standstill. And tonight, this is what these vendors here, and there are so many more. You can hear different stories, taxi drivers, tour operators, restaurant owners, whom I spoke with this morning. As you saw, I spoke with this morning at the Port Lucaya marketplace. I spoke with them this morning, and listen, people of different socioeconomic backgrounds, different hues, all saying the same thing. They're sitting there looking like misery in a desert land. That's how the Port Lucaya marketplace looks. And quite frankly, it was so sad to sort of witness this morning, because again, it is a naturally stunning place, quite beautiful. Anybody would love to come and take pictures and create TikTok videos and have lunch and all the rest of it and just tour the place, but nobody's doing so. It's just sitting there quite empty. I thank you both very much for joining me. Listen, we will obviously continue this discussion. This is not the first time. And we certainly will continue doing so until we see movement happening here in Grand Bahama, until we get some answers about when those $3 billion will start filtering through the economy in terms of investments and development and stuff. But I thank you so much, Tanya Higgins. Happy birthday once again. Lorenzo, this is the first time you sit next to me and you still want to talk?
One thing. There's quick. There's a solution. The government should subsidize the bus to bring it from Carnival. Come to Port Lucaya for 2 hours.
There was a meeting among business owners of the grouping that I mentioned, all those players. There was a meeting this evening at 6 o'clock. Perhaps we can find after this break more information about what was discussed, what it is that they are hoping as a group to propose to the government to help make happen, and see exactly how doable that is. But again, I just feel as though one project is not going to be the savior of Grand Bahama. It has to be more. I have to go to a break. I thank you so much again, Tanya Higgins and Lorenzo McKenzie. Thank you so much for speaking with me. This is Beyond the Headlines, live in Grand Bahama. We're back after this.
This National Heroes Day, Grand Bahama Tiles is celebrating our nation's builders, our contractors. For one day only, enjoy 20% off store-wide at our contractors only sale. Select, save, and build with tiles, tools, and materials. Everything you need to get the job done now at unbeatable savings. Don't miss it this Thursday, October 9th, one day only. Grand Bahama Tiles, building with you, building for you.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
Welcome to Blissful Escapes, where luxury meets affordability. Whether you're seeking relief from aches and pains or simply looking to indulge in some well-deserved pampering, relax and detox in our infrared sauna. Enjoy a soothing Swedish massage or an invigorating exfoliating body scrub. We also provide advanced facial treatments using cutting-edge technology, including hydrofacial, microneedling, and microcurrent therapies, located at the shops of Cable Beach Plaza.
Squad and Zone 4 present Keisha Cole performing live Saturday, October 11th at Nassau's Cruise Port. Keisha Cole performing live at the Nassau Cruise Port. $75 general admission, and log on donjulioevents.com for more information about VIP, table service, and skybox. Keisha Cole, October 11th, Nassau Cruise Port. Security strictly enforced. Keisha Cole performing live at Nassau Cruise Port.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
This National Heroes Day, elevate your home with timeless beauty from Grand Bahama Tiles. For 2 days only, Friday, October 10th and Saturday, October 11th, enjoy 20% off store-wide. Discover elegant porcelain, timeless ceramic, and durable natural stone, perfect for every area of your home. Celebrate savings that last a lifetime, only at Grand Bahama Tiles.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Grand Bahama here at the Pelican Bay Hotel. Of course, we are right next to the Port Lucaya Marketplace. This is Beyond the Headlines, and we are live here for this week. And the reason we came is really to hear from business owners and residents themselves as to the state of this Grand Bahama economy. We've been hearing good news in terms of Celebration Key, but we've also been hearing, as you saw in the first segment, that that is not trickling down fast enough, or perhaps at all in many instances. We are going to now shift gears and talk about where these business owners, and these are, the small business owners and startups, and who really depend on and trying to be players in this tourism economy and the tourism industry here in Grand Bahama. And so we're going to find out. In fact, there was a meeting about 2 hours ago that happened among business owners. Was headed by David Wallace, who joins me now, and I'm keen on hearing exactly what was discussed and how they figure they can move forward. Also joining me in this segment is Corey Cartwright. He is from the Lucaya Service Company, and we'll be talking about the key important thing also that's happening in Grand Bahama that must happen, and that is the T.N.O. Beach Bridge that for some reason has been basically unusable for about 2 years, and that's also hindered a whole lot. And so we'll get to that in a moment. Good evening to you, gentlemen. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines here in Grand Bahama. It's good to see you both and have you both here.
Thank you. Good evening. Welcome home. You've been keeping Grand Bahama in the headlines.
I have been.
We love it.
I have been absolutely doing my best to do so, and I think it's important. Grand Bahama and quite a number of other islands, and just to keep track on what's going on. So let's get right into it, David. You held a meeting this evening. Earlier this evening about those same vendors. Those are the craftsmen, the straw vendors and tour operators and persons like yourself and all that, people who play a key role in the tourism industry but have recently, in recent time, seen nothing happen. Can you tell us about that meeting and what came out of it?
I want to begin by telling you I too believe that Celebration Key is a great project for Grand Bahama. I was of the view then, and I'm still of the view, that Celebration Key will do for Grand Bahama like what Walt Disney did for Orlando, in that it will revolutionize Grand Bahama. It has impacted, no doubt, the vendors in Celebration Key. It has impacted those employees who are employed at Celebration Key.
Yes.
But when you look at the history of Carnival Cruise Line coming to Grand Bahama, like the lady said, when Carnival Cruise Line would have come down to Freeport Harbor before the opening of Celebration Key, if it had 3,000 persons on board, they would have been scattered throughout the island. Mm-hmm. Many of the businesses would have benefited. We are not seeing that effect now with the opening of Celebration Key. So we are seeing maybe 6,000 or 7,000 persons coming to Celebration Key, but it's not giving you the trickling effect that it would have given when it came to Freeport Harbor. And so, just to use Pirates Cove as an example, when it came down to the harbor, we would have had about 400 to 500 guests at Pirates Cove. Now we are lucky if we get 25 guests every day.
A day.
You're hearing the same.
How has that impacted your business there?
Because Celebration Key is literally doing exactly what we do, in that we offered the beach experience with the beach and lunch, and the only thing they don't offer is the zip line or the Claire kayak tour or the sea scooter tour. And so we thought those tours would have been, the numbers would have been greater. And
I want, you know something, because sometimes when you thought, you could think yourself right there, right where you are right now. In the initial stages of planning and meeting and negotiations, were discussions held to say, listen, Celebrate, we understand Carnival, you have your thing and you offer your sort of all-inclusive experience. However, for this and for that, you step out of that island or that key and sort of direct your guests here to have this experience, to have that experience, to eat conch salad, to do this. Were those discussions had? And
that has been a challenge. Based on the meetings people would have had with Carnival before the opening of Celebration Key, everyone expected, because the numbers, you're going now from 350,000 people a year to 2.5 million, everyone expected that their numbers at their establishments to be increased substantially.
Yes, yes.
The S&D coaching tours or the Headley Forbes, they met out and bought buses. And now their numbers have gone from 600 persons a day at Headley Forbes to moving less than 100 persons a day.
Wait a minute, what do you mean buses? How many buses have they? So you're saying these people went and invested and increased their fleet?
Absolutely.
By how many?
Oh, great numbers. By about Headley probably bought 10 buses. Shylock probably bought another 10 buses.
And how much are in use each day?
If Shylock is using 2 buses a day, he's lucky. If Headley is, like I told you, if he's moving 100 persons a day, he's lucky compared to moving 600 or 700 persons. And so the meeting that we held is to, how can we now coexist? There has to be further meetings with the government, with Celebration Key. We have to lay on the table to them exactly what these businesses are going through, because many times people believe because it's good up there, it might be good for the whole island. And the island is not feeling the impact.
And that's not it. You can applaud. If you all want to applaud, listen, absolutely do so, because people, I'll tell you this, everyone needs to hear this. Now, you met amongst yourself, and Corey, I'm coming to you right now because there's another important matter that we're going to discuss, and I think this is good news. So the show isn't all like, the show is like, listen, other things are happening. But let's talk about David. You all met. Now, you can't get that resolved amongst yourselves. Is there some paper that came as a result of tonight's meeting to be presented to, I don't know how you do it in Grand Bahama, to the Grand Bahama Port Authority or to the government or to both, or however that works?
It started with a meeting first with the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce President, Mr. Dylan Knowles. Tonight we met among ourselves to strategize what should be our speaking points. From that meeting, the meeting tonight, we are going to have a meeting we're going to invite the Deputy Prime Minister, along with the Minister of Transport, along with the Minister responsible for Grand Bahama, along with Mr. Ian Wood from the Grand Bahama Port Authority. From that meeting, then we expect to have a meeting with them and with Carnival. And we want to just lay out to them some of the challenges that some of the businesses are having on the island of Grand
Bahama. That's really super. That's a good start. And of course, beyond the headlines, we'll continue to follow, because I always, like I said, there are several islands in our archipelago, all of them, in fact, but certainly I pay close attention to and follow their progress and see what's going on. Grand Bahama happens to be one of them. Corey, let's just talk about something that has been a hindrance here on the island of Grand Bahama for the last 2 years or so, and that is the bridge, the Tino Bridge.
Like the Tino Indians, Tino Bridge.
You don't ever try correct the host.
No, I want you to just hear it.
Don't ever play with the host. Don't ever play with the host on the whole show. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? That's all I try. Because Corey, you wouldn't have done that. Would you have done that, sorry?
I would not have done that.
I know. Listen to me. Let's just go on, David.
You're too beautiful to do that.
Thank you.
He always has to have his
always all that right there. Yeah. But the Tino Bridge. See what happened? It's prone to flooding with the natural disasters of Grand Bahama, right?
No.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Welcome to the show. Go ahead.
Well, thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be here at Grand Bahama and by extension the Bahamas. Just quick movements regarding the bridge. The Lukai Service Company is proud to provide resolutions to the long-awaited anticipated reopening of the bridge. At current, whilst we are still in the planning stages for the repairs, we are putting in a temporary causeway across the marina that would allow all of the vehicles that are over 10 tons to cross over the bridge without any injury or any real resolution or concern to impacting those individuals who live, visit, or even play, along with the commercial businesses on that side of the island.
Let's just talk about this bridge and what's been happening in 2 years. First of all, it couldn't no longer absorb the load of big trucks and that kind of thing to make things happen. It wasn't being frequently used, or what was happening?
What happened was, after we noticed the deterioration with the bridge, we had several engineers come out and have a look at the bridge to get their qualifying notes on it and give some advisory direction on which way we needed to go. We wanted to ensure that the bridge, because this is a key infrastructure to that part of the island, all of the individuals who live on the island, we needed to ensure that their safety was first captured in all things that we did. In order to do that, we had to restrict the tonnage, not allowing concrete trucks, fire trucks, power company trucks, fuel refueling from the propane gas, sanitation services. So there were several industries that were impacted whilst the bridge was operating. And before we reached a critical mass where the bridge had to be immediately closed and nobody crossed over, we had to take necessary actions in producing this causeway that would relieve stress from off of the bridge. Now, at the same time, many people would have passed under the bridge, viewed some of the corroding and dropping parts from the bridge. Yes, we are quite aware of that, but it doesn't mean that the bridge is 100% unstable. What it means is, at the end of the day, the deck just needed to be replaced. That's what we're working on right now.
You're working on that right now.
Right. So
how did the inability to have those sort of tonnage and vehicles that you described prevent the further growth or slow down just progress in that part of Grand Bahama? And by the way, tell us, for those of us who are not quite aware of the layout of this island, which area of Grand Bahama we're speaking of.
Okay. Tino Beach is located within the Lukai area, which is about 5 miles east of our location right now. Okay. It has a major infrastructure that allows the villages of Smith Point, those of the Bell Channel area and Fortune Bay area, to access back into the main Lukai area. Without this bridge, there's no access. There's no secondary, there's no third at the end of the day, and there's no ferry that can be used to transport back and forth. So that means at the end of the day, if this bridge was not in place, it would be a challenge and definitely a new card in the deck that we will have to provide some sort of resolve in order to allow the residents to have access to the mainland.
Wow, so David, it's very necessary that these repairs happen because it appears as though a lot has just sort of not been allowed to happen or been happening as a result of this, the very vulnerable state this bridge has been in for the last 2 years.
Absolutely. And aside from the residents who live on that side of the bridge, on the south side of the bridge, there are many businesses that are over on that side, like Unexo. We have Tino Beach, Flamingo Bay. We have the Ritz Hotel, we have Stone Crab, we have Pirates Cove Zipline and Water Park, we have Obera Bay, and all of the employees, all the tourists. As a matter of fact, at one time, because of the restriction of the tonnage, the guests who came to Pirates Cove, the double-decker bus would stop at the foot of the bridge. The guests would then have to come off that double-decker bus, go on to the small coaster bus, and the coaster bus would then take them over to the beach, and then the coaster bus would have to bring them back. It also impeded us having the essential services. You take for granted being able to get a garbage truck to come over. So now what they had to do is people have to go into the garbage bin and take the garbage out and put it on the back of a ferry and ferry it back to the mainland.
But I mean, has that been sort of a good enough response to the inability to have the garbage truck go over? Meaning, has it been an issue of garbage piling up? And what's been happening there? What's been going on?
We have a very good relationship. As a matter of fact, when we have, they had the clam truck that comes over so often and take trash away. When they could no longer come, again, they worked with the little backhoes to load it up and get rid of it. It's inconvenient, but it worked. The truth about this, and we've had some wonderful meetings over the past 2 years with the Port Authority in terms of updating us as to where they were and the negotiations where they were with one, looking for persons who, and finding someone to just fix the bridge is not easy. But this causeway is a temporary situation that will alleviate a lot of that problem until the main bridge is fixed.
So now, Corey, we heard this is a temporary measure. You sure it's temporary? Because in the Bahamas, all that temporary is turned into, when you look 20 years have passed.
20 years of temporary.
That part. 2 decades. So Corey, let's talk about exactly one, when is this causeway going to be brought online, and then truly, what's the plan to now almost immediately get working on that bridge?
Shanique, my name is Corey Cartwright, and I don't mess around with my name. When I say that we have a plan and we have a resolve for this issue, the company has worked diligently. We had several rounds of meetings just to get the things that we needed to ensure that everything would move in the proper. Just yesterday, we had a roundtable meeting to start the commission of the causeway. We should be starting that within the next 7 days or so. Once that starts, it's going to take 56 days to complete. It'll have a drivable surface, asphalt surface. It'll be just a slight detour from off of the main route and over the waterway and back on to the main route. We will anticipate 1 year to get the actual bridge deck removed and put back in. Some of the challenges that we have is that, one, we are a non-profit organization. There's no tax that comes from VAT. There's nobody giving us money. And as much as the residents want to say the Port Authority, let me clear that up for you and your audience. The Port Authority is regulator for the Lucaya Service Company, nothing more. It doesn't invest into its nonprofit. That's what the service charges are for. Service charges fund the maintenance of the Lucaya area, all right? With that being said, we just came on the Dorian. We had 1.9 million on Sajak. We had another 2.5 on Casuarina Bridge. We had the Fortune Bay was another million plus to go. And now we are at Tino Bridge. We are spending right now about $900,000 to put the causeway in, and we need another 1.9 to get that completed. This money just doesn't appear. We just can't go out and tax David more and the residents more. And you've heard from some of the straw vendors, they can't pay their bills. They are some of the landowners. How do you get more out of Freeport when at the end of the day, it is them who have to put into the kitty for us in order for us to continue with our city ordinance and to make sure infrastructure repairs continue?
This is Beyond the Headlines. We are live in Grand Bahama this evening. We're going to continue this discussion, and we're also going to talk about you heard me talk about the pipeline, how over $3 billion is there. I'm gonna ask these gentlemen about that and about what's the holdup there. I think something with the Freeport Harbor and the MSC deal. What's happening? I mean, this island obviously wants. You heard Corey. Corey said, listen, they're gonna have to find the money to then repair the Tino Bridge once the temporary causeway is put in. We'll get more information about that, but they need this money. And so certainly we're going to look at some of the other projects that's happening, some of the other big names that you recognize who are just waiting to put their feet on the ground here in Grand Bahama, and somehow they are being prevented, it appears. We're going to talk about that after the break. Beyond the Headlines, live from Grand Bahama. We're back after this.
This National Heroes Day, Grand Bahama Tiles is celebrating our nation's builders, our contractors. For 1 day only, enjoy 20% off store-wide at our contractors only sale. Select, save, and build with tiles, tools, and materials. Everything you need to get the job done now at unbeatable savings. Don't miss it this Thursday, October 9th, 1 day only. Grand Bahama Tiles, building with you, building for you.
Ever feel like you're missing your own life because you're constantly running off to the bathroom? Do bladder leaks or pelvic discomfort have you up at night and affect your confidence in everyday life? Those days are over. At Frequency Vitality Center, we offer a solution. Completely painless, fully clothed with no downtime. Perfect for men and women of any age, we help strengthen the pelvic floor muscles while you sit comfortably, improving bladder control, decreasing night waking, and much more. Strengthen your foundation and restore your confidence.
So my name is Dr. Sophia Roll. I'm the resident artist for the Via Hamea Art House and Gallery. This is not something that I've gone to school for, if you will. I'm a professor. I recently got into art in 2015 because it was something that I always wanted to do. I saw something about fluid art, the abstract expressionism of fluid art really drew me. And so I'm always thinking now about art. I see the world through art. So that is, for me, very, very gratifying, very, very satisfying. So receiving the Women's Initiative grant really impacted the business because it allowed me to see in that I could have taken my craft, my art, outside of the gallery walls and really maximizing on some of the training, some of the skills that we learned. The advice that I would give to not only women, but anyone who's interested in starting a small business or starting a business is to just get started. You have to take the first step. And if you take the first step, you'd be amazed at how far you can continue to walk in that space.
For more information about how the SBDC can help your small business to make a big impact, give us a call at 461-7232 or visit sbdcbahamas.com.
This National Heroes Day, elevate your home with timeless beauty from Grand Bahama Tiles. For 2 days only, Friday, October 10th and Saturday, October 11th, enjoy 20% off store-wide. Discover elegant porcelain, timeless ceramic, and durable natural stone, perfect for every area of your home. Celebrate savings that last a lifetime, only at Grand Bahama Tiles.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Headlines live from Grand Bahama this evening. I am here at this wrong. Seriously, it is. The Pelican Bay Hotel. I love it so much. Listen, you all should see the room and the view. It's stunning, beautiful. And right next to this property is the Port Lucaya Marketplace. Just another beautiful project. And the thing is, though, if you speak with the majority of Grand Bahamians, more needs to happen. More in this economy. The economy has been at a standstill for decades. It's nothing new. It didn't just happen since Celebration Key. This economy has been at a standstill for decades, yet there have been people who have decided that they're going to invest in the economy. They're going to put their monies in there to help, just to step in and help make things happen. But they need that sort of outside influence, as every island in our archipelago does. That's been very, very slow in coming. It's been slow in coming. Of course, we have a several $100 million Celebration Key project. That project alone cannot lift Grand Bahama and give it what it needs. There is, according to reports, in excess of $3 billion in the pipeline. These people tonight are saying, bring some of that out the pipeline and get it moving in this economy. That will help make the difference in improving quality of life, in having these people being able to meet their commitments, pay their bills, send their kids to school, eat, buy breakfast. So much, just the simple things that many people may ignore. These people here are saying, listen, it's important to them. It's important to their forward mobility. And tonight, they want answers. Tonight, they want them addressed. We are here to do that this week. Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. I'm here in this segment once again with, I'm joined by Corey Cartwright. Corey is from the Lucaya Service Company. Corey's company is bringing relief to the Tino Beach area in that Tino Bridge that's been sort of barely operable for the past 2 years is now having a temporary fix so that they can give the overall improvement and fix to the actual Tino Bridge. And then I'm here with David Wallace, who is an investor in this economy himself. He's a businessman and also a community leader. Gentlemen, thank you both for sticking around in this segment.
We love being with you.
Well, thank you.
We're going to bring some people out tomorrow night. We're going to have a wonderful time tomorrow night.
Yeah, because we have to talk about, it's the big question still, you know. Listen, I don't think I'm ignoring them. The airport, the hotel, and so much more. So we have a lot to get to this week, a whole lot to get to. And so we ain't going to rush through it either. We're going to take our time and just sort of sort through all the stuff that needs to be sorted through. Right, Corey?
That's right. Shanique, I just want to say at the offset that while Grand Bahama economy is not what it should be yet,
yes,
there's been some signs of growth in Grand Bahama economy. When you go into the industrial sector, which is the harbor, the container port, the shipyard, it has held its own. The light manufacturing area, if you go on Queens Highway, and I tell people measure Grand Bahama by just driving on Yellow Pine Street. There's no empty building no longer other than one under construction on Yellow Pine Street. All of those buildings have been renovated and they're now operable. On Queens Highway, a lot of businesses have operating.
And I'm happy
And when I speak it for David Wallace. I am not speaking.
No, I know you're not the voice of Grand Bahama, but I'm happy David Wallace is measured and objective, because I said that at the top of tonight's show. I said there is a segment of this population where they are experiencing this growth. The economy has turned, and listen, if you have people who pack up and close up their homes and left for years and have returned, that is a sign that there's some good news here. It's not all bad news, but the news is not sufficient for an island as huge as this, an island with such potential, an island where you...
And the challenge, Shanique, the challenge is in the hotel sector.
And that's the thing, Grand Bahama has never been able to get its tourism act together.
Absolutely.
It is an industrial hub.
Yes.
And maybe, guys, before we get back to the bridge and the rest of it, maybe that should be further explored.
And casinos. Just remember, we had the casinos back then. Now, I'm a young boy, but at the same time, when I was growing up in Grand Bahama, you could have 3 jobs at any given time. All right? Now we are at a point where we're struggling just to hold on to one.
Not only hold on to one, many persons are working 2 and 3 days. They are not working a full week. And so at the end of the day, I am amazed how the people in Port Lucaya make it.
It's been years.
I've
not just talked about them now. It's been years since I've been talking about Port Lucaya, the vendors at Port Lucaya.
I share Lorenzo's view. I call on the government to subsidize, just how they could subsidize out island developments in terms of, if you go and my daughter tells me you stay in a hotel for 3 nights and we subsidize your airfare, there should be subsidized tours going to Port Lucaya. If you could get 4 buses with 60 people in it every day in Port Lucaya for 2 hours, it will be the savior. And so if the government has to subsidize the $10 per person and offer it some kind of incentive on board the cruise ship, the reality is we are only getting cruise ship now. We do not have an airport. I can't tell you when that's going to happen, but the reality is you're not getting no traffic through the airport right now.
I'll tell you, no, it may not be traffic, because I'll tell you, listen, I think the airport is so nice. It's not an insult, because I know you're all trying to say, give us our international. Don't jump ahead of me. That's tomorrow night. Let's take our time and get there, and let's explore that, and let's absolutely speak on that. Okay. You understand? What I'm saying is, you all have made so quaint and nice, which you all have the temporary. Wasn't that supposed to be temporary? The temporary thing you all have there. Yeah. You all have, it's so quaint and nice and clean. So it just like much of what Grand Bahama is. You know, it still is.
Grand Bahama has what no other island in the Bahamas could claim. You have a family island setting in a city where you could go to the east, Grand Bahama for the family island, you could go to the west, Grand Bahama for the family island, and then you come to the organized city of Freeport.
So listen, I mean, let me tell you, let me just get to, and by the way, thank you for everybody who is participating in tonight's show. I welcome your participation. The applause you hear when we come in and come out, or certain things that are said, are vendors themselves who have decided tonight that they're going to come here. They're going to be hanging out all week with me here at this hotel as we come live to you, just to talk frankly, just very frankly, about what's happening in Grand Bahama, what needs to happen, what needs to, listen, this island is poised poised for incredible success.
Today, it is resilient by all measures. We have gone through the worst of storms, and we are able to still come back, repair, recoup, and move on like we never had a storm before. We continue to be blessed by God for every time, but anybody who comes from Grand Bahama can go anywhere in the world, but at the same time, if everybody from Grand Bahama who loves Grand Bahama leaves Grand Bahama, who will be here in Grand Bahama?
Yeah, I agree, and I'm happy, you know, and you must give it up an applause for Pelican Bay as well. Pelican Bay, absolutely. Pelican Bay has stayed focused, and they have stayed put, and they have improved this property. It is a lovely property. It really is perhaps, I guess, the staple property on the island right now, and it really is quite a lovely property. Get this though, Shanique, a lot of investors are frustrated by the slowness of lawyers drawing up agreements. For example, leases, contracts, and so on. Investors have to wait this process out. We need to start giving approvals in principle. Also, those closed hotels owned by foreigners do not pay property tax. This is Grand Bahama they're talking about? Wow, they pay a measly maintenance fee for such large properties. It's just,
I just want to say to you that at the beginning of this segment, you talked about the funds in the pipeline, the $3 billion.
The $3 billion, yeah, I heard that just last week or week before.
And there are some projects that have started in Grand Bahama. The Six Sense project, which is located up there off of Fortune Bay Drive. They have cleared the property. They're doing all of their civil work now that they need to do. I think that's going to be a 200-room property. That's correct. That's going to be built, and so they have started.
So it's just a little slow.
Yes,
but it started.
Yes.
As you said, there's a lot of things in the pipeline that's just somehow being delayed. But once they come off the pipeline, there are significant and key infrastructures that need to be completed in order to have these things come out of the development stage.
And the Grand Bahama shipyard, as you know, there's a big expansion, but the shipyard dock is being built someplace in Europe, and then it will be
China.
It will come here. That's going to be a big project again with the expansion of the Grand Bahama shipyard.
So again, and this is why, I mean, it's kind of a little difficult to say be patient, because people would say, Grand Bahama would say, Mom, we've been patient.
No.
For decades we've been patient. And so I get that, and I understand, and I'm not trying to trivialize at all. But the thing is, you know, just hang in there, because there is a lot that very soon will add to what's already sort of taking shape here that'll begin to make a difference.
Yeah, and Shanique, whilst I cannot speak to the whole of Grand Bahama, I just can speak to my small portion within Grand Bahama. A sample as the Marina Inlet going through the Tino Beach area, we are forced to close that because of the installation of the causeway. That'll be closed for a year. Whilst it may impact some boaters, all they'll have to do is access the eastern and western access within the area. You just are not able to cross underneath the bridge itself. So there are still ways for you to get in, regardless of what side you're on. But at the end of the day, just give us the time that we need to ensure that life is first preserved.
Absolutely, because that is what the issue is there with that Tino Bridge project, and the reason that there's going to be a temporary causeway.
And then there's a lot of discussion, and there's been a long discussion with Royal Caribbean and MSC doing some acquisition of the Freeport Harbor and the container port. And so I know that is well advanced in the making. And there's
is that being stalled somewhat?
No, I don't. I think if it's being stalled, maybe signatures that needs to cause
and that is what that person says. Like, let's move these things forward. Let's stop standing in the way and sitting on papers.
I think the announcement was made where the Xanadu Hotel was finally sold. Where Royal Caribbean, I'm told, might be the purchaser of it. Again, they are going to be doing some beach development for the cruise port, because they expect to expand the Freeport Harbor, and they expect to start calling on Freeport more frequently. People like us in Port Lukai, we look into the West now, you know. We look into Freeport Harbor to be our savior. And so, but I also...
But I think it will, because once all the... Imagine Celebration Key, imagine the Freeport Harbor and the Royal Caribbean and all the rest of it. When these things come on stream, which you need it to come, you need to keep hearing it, because it sounds good to hear it, you know. It now needs to happen. When they do happen, though, Grand Bahama is poised for such incredible success.
No, we believe it will happen because we are hearing of celebrity cruises who do not call on Freeport at this time. They're getting ready to make some calls, start calling on Freeport.
Oh, okay.
And the Disney cruise that does not call on Freeport, they're getting ready. And I think the harbor company is going out now and knocking on doors and trying to get more cruise ships to begin calling on Freeport to replace what they would have lost from Carnival now doing their own.
Right. Here's another comment. Grand Bahama should use Boston as an example. It's an educational hub, medical hub, industrial hub, which fuels tourism. That's the model that, and it's also a tech hub. That is the model that Grand Bahama can certainly adopt. The Port Authority has governance, delegated authority through the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, which is statute law. They collect taxes and have an obligation to invest in the restoration and maintenance of Freeport. Yes, some things look like they've been kind of slipping a little bit. The airport is the Port Authority's responsibility. Is the Port Authority, and I know you all don't represent the Port Authority, nor can you all speak. This is just me as the host throwing it out there. Is the Port Authority working with the government to be able to just get that Grand Bahama International Airport moving? It's a lot of questions. Don't talk to that right now because, again, we're talking about the airport, the hotel, and a whole lot more tomorrow. We're here for the week. We're here to kind of get into Grand Bahama and see what's going on this week, and so we're happy to be able to do that. Corey, you may have to slip in again because we were supposed to talk. I know people having a little pushback on that temporary causeway, but your intention is obviously to keep it moving because you know it's very necessary for growth and quality of life and safety for the Tino Beach area.
And the business community on that side.
Absolutely, which is quite important as well. So some people just push back the pushback.
That's no problem, Shanique, and we're prepared to deal with those people who want to have those constructive conversations. We are happy to have those conversations with them. Cultivating a project is something that people will always have their opinions with, but when they get into the fight, then they understand there's more to what is being said, and then you hear oh, I didn't know. Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize. Yes. We have a team that's dedicated.
Corey, I thank you. Thank you so much. My people are telling me I need to quickly wrap. Listen, it must be a Baptist preacher. It goes very quickly. I thank you, Corey Cartwright. I thank you so much, David Wallace. I thank you so much, of course, at the top of tonight's show, the vendors from the Port Lucaya Marketplace. And hey, a big thank you as well. A huge thank you to Pelican Bay Resort. Listen, they are incredible here in Grand Bahama. Thank you so much, and thank you to all of you for coming as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Of course, for Justin Williamson and Evans, you scream your name. Octius Evans, thank you so much for being here as well with me. And thank all of you for tuning in. Thank you for your comments and your participation tonight. Look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.